Yes, sir. We are here. We are here. We're back. We're back with another video. So thank you all so very much for taking the time out of your day to come kick it with me and talk a little boxing, right? So we definitely going to do that. We're going to be discussing the double main event, right, between Jermall Charlo and Thomas LaManna, and also Caleb Plant versus Armando Resendiz. So we got to take a deep dive into all the good stuff. But before we do that, we got to handle all the important stuff, right? So we're powered by our good friends at DNS Cleaning. So if you're in the 757 Virginia area and you need cleaners, whether it's business, office space, move outs, Airbnbs, that kind of thing, those are the people that you want. So feel free to tap into them. On any of their social media platforms. You can reach out to me. I can get you all the information that you need, so that way they can get you straight. Also, sponsorship opportunities that are available also, so feel free to send us a message, like we said, any of our social media platforms, and let's talk business. Send us an email, whatever you like. But now we got all that out the way. Let's get down to this thing. All right, so we got two fights that we're going to be breaking down in this video, y'all. The first one we're going to be discussing is Jermall Charlo against Thomas LaManna, okay? So Jermall Charlo, he's had a long layoff. So I was anxious to see what Jermall Charlo shows up, right? That's how that works out. When you have someone that has a long layoff, you always want to know, okay, is it the same fighter or is there some ring rust there? Did they lose a step? So all those questions, come into play when you talk about someone that has a long layoff, and then you have Thomas LaManna, who's a veteran. So this is a good opportunity for Jermall Charlo to show if he was back and, what level he's at and kind of go from there, right? So, and he followed through. Jermall Charlo, he impressed. He had to be accurate, strong, smart. He was all those things. He picked the shots well. He was very accurate. And the power followed up behind that, obviously, with the multiple knockdowns. I think it was 4 knockdowns. The fight lasted 6 rounds. Well, it was at the beginning of the next round, I believe, beginning of the 6th when the fight was called. So 4 knockdowns. So the power was there. The jab was there. So it was a good night for Jermall Charlo for sure. He did what he was supposed to do. It was good seeing his brother in the corner with him as well. I know we've seen issues on the internet and all that about how they're having some issues back some time ago. So it's good to see, them together and, Jermall Charlo impressing. So Jermall Charlo did end up getting the TKO stoppage win. That was the official ruling. So on to bigger and better things for Jermall Charlo. It was, potentially set up that if Jermall Charlo wins and Caleb Plant wins, then they meet. So given the fact that Jermall Charlo won his fight, he's now talking about possibility of fighting Canelo, but we'll see. We'll see how things go. I mean, the fact that Jermall Charlo's shown that he's back and, he's still a really good fighter, that opens up a lot of options outside of Canelo Alvarez for Jermall Charlo. Canelo's obviously going to be tied up with Terrence Crawford. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Jermall Charlo for sure. But it was good to see him back and doing what he does. So shout out to him on his performance. Now, let's get to this main event, y'all. Caleb Plant, that's my guy, man. I am a Caleb Plant fan, man. Caleb has always been someone that I enjoy watching. Caleb Plant versus Armando Resendiz. Shout out to Armando Resendiz. He came out to fight, and that was made very obvious in the very beginning of the fight. He kept the pressure on Caleb. It seemed like there were times where he made Caleb maybe a little uncomfortable. He pressed forward. He had more action. He was just, he was just doing more. He was just a busier fighter. And the official ruling was Armando Resendiz actually got the split decision win over Caleb Plant. So now this puts Caleb Plant in a situation where, the rematch, there's a rematch clause in the contract. So I would imagine that instead of obviously entertaining the Charlo fight, which was there, you got to get that lick back. So I fully, and he's talked about it. Caleb Plant has talked about how there's a rematch clause, with Resendiz. So I would imagine that is going to be the next step for both men, Resendiz and Caleb Plant. But Caleb, to me, like I said, Caleb is my guy. But just looking at the fight, if I'm being 100, there were times, especially as the fight went on, where Caleb just wasn't active enough. Resendiz, for every 10 punches he threw, Caleb maybe threw 1 or 2. And over time, y'all, that adds up. You know, maybe every 10 punches, Caleb threw 3 or 4. But the number was in Resendiz's favor as far as the punch output. And like I said, as the fight went on, that was made more apparent. The eye-popping shots, you know, that would get the reaction from the crowd was in favor of Resendiz. So this was Resendiz's fight. I was surprised that it wasn't a unanimous decision, but he did end up getting the win, which I think the right guy won that fight. So I fully expect, like I said, a rematch between those two. Caleb to try to get his lick back and try to get back on the path for those big fights against Charlo, against LaManna, the ones that he wants. So first step is he got to get that lick back, and Resendiz is I would imagine he's going to try to make a statement and double down that he feels like he's the better fighter. And shout out to him. Like I said, he heard all the talk about the Plan and Charlo fight pretty much already being done, and they're already kind of starting to work towards that from a promotional standpoint. And he wasn't having it. He just threw a monkey wrench in the whole situation. So I like when things like that happen. I like when just monkey wrenches get thrown in, and now you wonder what's next for everyone. So, you know, leave me your comments. Let me know what you think about the performances of Plan, of LaManna, of Charlo, of Resendiz. Let me know what you think about the performances of all those guys, and let me know what you think. What's next? You know, who would you like to see Jermall Charlo next fight? Obviously, since the Caleb Plant fight is going to be put on hold, so who would you like to see him fight? Let me know in the comment section. So make sure y'all stay tapped in to the channel, because whatever happens, whatever news drops with those guys, you know we're going to have it updated. Especially make sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X. Those are the ones that we typically keep updated more so than YouTube. I try to keep YouTube updated as well, but sometimes it gets by me. I can't sit here and lie to y'all. So try to keep everything updated. But those 3 that I mentioned earlier, those are the ones that you really want to follow us on. So like I said, make sure y'all stay locked in, and we'll see what happens with all those guys. For me, from my man Iron Mike, for Sugar Ray, and we up out of here, y'all. Peace.